Part 1. The Discovery. In the year 2212, humanity had conquered the stars. After decades of interstellar exploration, Earth's greatest minds had unlocked the secret to faster-than-light travel, and colonization of distant planets was no longer a dream. But even with the vastness of space now within reach, there was one mystery that haunted the edges of exploration: the Enigma star. The Enigma star had been discovered in 2146, a distant supernova remnant located in the Perseus galaxy. From the moment astronomers first observed it, they knew something was off. Unlike any supernova they had seen before, this one pulsed with an unnatural rhythm, a signal buried in the light that only the most advanced instruments could detect. But it wasn't a natural phenomenon, it was a message, one that seemed to span time and space itself. Dr. Aidan Brackett, one of the brightest young astrophysicists in the United Colonies of Earth, was among the few who had dedicated his career to deciphering the anomaly. For years, he and his team of researchers had been studying the Enigma star's pulsing signal, but its origins defied logic. It was unlike any form of communication known to humanity. There were no identifiable patterns, no decipherable language, and yet it was clear that the message was intended for someone, or something. It was while analyzing a new batch of data that Dr. Brackett made a breakthrough. Among the strange frequencies, he identified a repeating sequence of numbers that did not seem random. The sequence matched nothing in the known databases. It was an anomaly, but it was also too deliberate. The discovery was a turning point. He believed he had finally cracked the code, unlocking a map embedded within the signal. A map leading to something hidden at the heart of the Enigma star, something that had been waiting for eons. And it wasn't just a destination. It was a warning. Part 2. Into the Unknown. Despite the dangers and the uncertainty, Dr. Brackett couldn't ignore the pull of the mystery. A special mission was launched, and Aidan was selected to lead the expedition. He was given command of the Starlight Voyager, a state-of-the-art exploration vessel designed for deep space travel. The journey was expected to take months, but Aidan's obsession with the signal kept him up at night, reviewing the map over and over, convinced that he was on the verge of discovering something profound. He wasn't just chasing answers about the Enigma star. He was chasing the remnants of a lost civilization, a species that had left behind a message across the eons. As they approached the star, strange phenomena began to occur. The ship's sensors picked up fluctuations in gravity fields, and odd spatial distortions appeared near the Enigma star. Something was affecting the fabric of space-time. Aidan's heart raced. They were nearing the heart of the anomaly. Then the Starlight Voyager entered the event horizon of the Enigma star's core. The ship's systems went haywire. Stars seemed to twist and warp in the distance. Their light bent into impossible shapes. Time itself felt as though it were stretching and contracting. The crew, though trained for high-risk exploration, couldn't help but feel the immense weight of the moment. Aidan stood at the helm, watching in awe as the ship plunged deeper into the distorted space. "Prepare for anything," he said, his voice barely audible against the low hum of the ship's engines. "This could change everything." Part 3. The Rift. Without warning, the ship was violently thrust through the gravitational rift. The crew screamed in terror as their reality seemed to fracture. The lights flickered, the ship's hull groaned under the pressure, and then everything went silent. Aidan stumbled to his feet, disoriented. He looked out the viewing window and gasped. The stars had shifted. There was something wrong. The Enigma star no longer pulsed with its strange light. In fact, it seemed to have disappeared entirely. The ship was surrounded by an eerie, uncharted expanse of space. A vast, void-like sea of absolute blackness stretched in every direction. "What just happened?" a voice called out from the back. Aidan turned to find his crew in shock. The captain, Rhea Monroe, stood near the console, her face pale. "It's like we've crossed over," she murmured. This is another dimension." Aiden could barely process her words. They were in a different place, a place beyond their understanding. But what terrified him even more was the sight they now faced. Floating in the distance, a massive structure drifted in the void. It was enormous, far larger than anything humanity had ever constructed. The shape was irregular, geometric, and glimmering with lights that seemed to pulse rhythmically. The ship's sensors couldn't identify it. It didn't belong to any known species. It was as though it had never existed in this reality until now. Aiden's heart raced. This was it, the source of the Enigma star's signal. But as they drew closer, the crew's excitement quickly turned to fear. The structure, if it could even be called that, was alive. The ship's communications picked up strange whispers, but they weren't coming from any known form of life. These whispers didn't belong to any language. They were something older, more primal. They seemed to echo from every direction, reverberating deep in their minds. "Their minds can hear us," one of the crew members muttered in terror, as though the whispers had somehow reached into his brain. Aiden ordered the crew to maintain radio silence, but it was too late. The voices had already begun to influence their thoughts. Part 4. The Truth Beneath. Upon docking with the structure, the crew donned their spacesuits and ventured inside. The halls of the enormous alien vessel were vast and cold. Their suits' lights flickered off the smooth metallic walls, which seemed to absorb all sound. As they ventured deeper, the whispers grew louder, more insistent. Aiden could hear them now, too, and though he couldn't make sense of the words, they gnawed at his mind. Then they came to an enormous chamber. In the center stood an artifact unlike anything they had ever seen. An obelisk-shaped device, glowing with strange, shifting symbols. The device pulsed with energy, and Aiden could feel its power radiating through the floor beneath his feet. He stepped forward, drawn to it, as if an invisible force was pulling him closer. His hand trembled as he reached out to touch the surface of the artifact. Instantly, his vision was flooded with images, flashes of ancient civilizations, of creatures beyond comprehension, and of a terrible truth. The entity that had built this ship, this structure, had once been a species that mastered the art of traveling between dimensions. They had transcended space and time and unlocked the deepest secrets of the universe. But their journey had come with a price. The whispers were not just voices. They were remnants of their minds, trapped in the rift between worlds. Their species had achieved godlike knowledge, but in doing so they had lost everything, becoming echoes in the void, their existence spread across countless dimensions. And the Enigma star? It was not a natural phenomenon. It was a gateway, a rift leading to this dimensional prison. Aiden's discovery had not been a message from another civilization. It had been a warning, a plea for release. As the whispers grew louder, the crew realized the terrible truth. The artifact, the structure, it was a trap. Not just for them, but for anyone who dared to seek the truth. Aiden turned to face his crew, his mind racing. "We have to go. Now." But as they turned to leave, the door behind them slammed shut, locking them inside. The whispers grew louder, more frantic. The ship's systems began to malfunction, and Aiden realized with growing horror that the entity within the structure was waking up. It wanted to be free, and now it had found them. Part 5. The Choice. The crew was trapped. The artifact pulsed, its energy growing. The whispers, once fragmented and distant, now filled every part of their minds. The entity's will was clear. It wanted to return to their world, to escape the rift. Aiden knew there was only one option left, to sacrifice themselves and prevent the entity from escaping. With a heavy heart, he activated the ship's self-destruct sequence. As the countdown began, the crew shared a final look, knowing that their mission had led them into the unknown, and that they would never return. The explosion tore through the structure, collapsing the rift and closing the doorway to the dimension beyond. But the echoes of the entity remained, lingering in the void, and somewhere in the darkness between worlds, they waited for the next fool to come looking.